Hi, friends. I want to update you on some news about our life together as a community at Los Altos United Methodist Church. First, I want to report back to you on the commitment campaign that we were engaged in together in May, when you made financial commitments to the church for the budget year ahead. You made a strong and encouraging statement about our commitment to one another and to our ministries together. The number of commitments was down a little bit. We expected that because it came after a year of being distant from one another. But many people made financial commitments. And what we saw in those commitments was an average increase of 16% over the year before. That's extraordinary. And what I read in that is a commitment to the strong and strategic initiatives that we are taking as a church, a commitment to the bold path that LAUMC is on as we live into reinvesting in our ministries and some new ministries as we live as people of connection and compassion and courage. With those commitments in hand, our finance committee and church council went to work on a budget for the year 2021-22. And when we did the first draft of that budget, what we saw was a $400,000 gap between the amount of income we projected and the kind and number of ministries that we want to do, the full amount of ministry we wanted to do. And so we asked the hard questions. We asked, should we just be doing less in the year ahead? We asked, is the shrinkage we've seen in the church, that every church has seen during this time, is it likely to be long-term? Or is it just a short-term phenomenon that we will climb out of quickly because of the strength of this congregation? Every leader we talked to around this church said, let's keep going. We believe in the ministries we're doing, in the direction that we are taking as a church. So, fortunately, we are a church with significant assets, so we had some places to draw. The endowment committee agreed to offer a significant additional distribution to the operating budget from the funds that have been saved for just a time as this. Our United Methodist Women made an extraordinary contribution to the church's work. We reallocated some of the Board of Trustees' spending on the campuses, and we may have made some adjustments in our staffing so that we can live into the budget of this year. And what happened then is that by the end of June, when the church council voted on a budget, we had a budget that has a very small and manageable deficit for the next year. And as long as we all keep our commitments to this church, we feel very confident that we're going to be fine financially in the next year. We will continue with all the ministries we have planned, and I am very grateful for that. And in so many ways, coming back to church after all those months apart has felt like we are starting over. But it feels like we are starting from a very strong and solid foundation, and that's a good thing. We're enjoying being back together in-person worship as it is outdoors, and I think that's been kind of fun to be together outside in a more informal way. And in the months that we've been out of doors and out of the sanctuary, we have used this sanctuary as a recording studio, really. There's all kinds of filming and sound equipment that occupies the space right now. We need to install all of that equipment permanently before we can come back in and use the space fully. And so we're doing that. And while we're doing that, we're refreshing the sanctuary in some other ways as well, with new paint and improvements to our lighting and our sound systems, with the new audiovisual equipment, with some repairs to our flooring, so that when we come back in this space, it will be ready for our full use. Because the construction industry is way backed up, it's probably going to be November before we are back in the sanctuary fully. In the meantime, we're going to continue to worship outside, and when we need to go inside for one reason or another, we have Creekside Center, which we can use and will use together. But in the meantime, we're going to stay outside as long as we can. And my sense is that this is a good time for LAUMC, that we're feeling the joy of being in one another's company, that we're energized by a clear direction with hopefulness in it, that you are confident as I am in our staff and our lay leaders, and that we are confident about the future of our life together. And so I want to thank you for your support, for your stamina and persistence through this time, and tell you how grateful I am to be here with you and how much I look forward to the year ahead. Thanks.